Not everybody's like you. Not everybody's like you.
I didn't know.
No problem. You got this one. Take her, and then her. You got mine. Ready?
All right.
I made it to Mindvalley. We're on lunch break, so it's about to restart. I came straight from my flight, so then I had no time to look cute, but it is what it is. At least I made it.
You wake up with one and two black eyes. Whatever the problem is.
And he was merry-go. Oh. Let me hear you say, come on now. Hey, let's go. Good vibes. I sure need. So my skin is dry, so I like the way. Wash over me. Let me listen to you.
When I say self-love, the face relaxes, you smile, and they're like, ha, okay, that thing, you know, the woo-woo stuff. It's the soft skill. It's considered to be the soft skill. The soft and unimportant, and trust me, I've been in personal growth and a businesswoman who has actually helped to produce quite a lot of authors. Self-love is not a marketable thing. So what I want to tell you though, that self-love is a soft skill, which is really hard to master. And I've experienced that over years. So unfortunately, I only have half an hour with you today. Normally I would give my talk for about an hour. So I'll give you another minute right now. And that creates that wound of lack of self-love. And it's amazing because that's how we are brought up. Our contemporary paradigm works on that. It's not just your parents or your teachers or your friends. The whole world works like that. We are trained from a very early age that we have to earn love. When a child behaves...
You want to wave to the audience? How many of you guys love nasty? Give a big round of applause for Marisa. So Marisa was number one, right? And for the number 2 episode, I wanted to highlight the life and the story of my friend Sarah. Now let me tell you why. Started 9 companies. Now keep this in mind. Started 9 companies, and she's a single mom of one of the most wonderful kids I know.
Hell no! How he gives you whatever you want. So that was God's sense of humor to me, the Real Housewives of Dubai. Now, 2 reasons why I did it. Number 1, it is free stereotype and break it and just tell the Western world about the Arabs. Second reason is definitely a great platform to grow my brand, my personal brand, and you know, the business and all that. But I was attacked when I tatted up and stuff. I've already been on that bus, you know, I was like, I'll take that bus anyways. But the thing is, they thought it's a documentary about how women are housewives in Dubai. They weren't familiar of it as a franchise. And I had to go and change the narrative and explain that I'm representing me. I'm not representing any housewife in Dubai. I'm just representing Sarah.
What makes Sarah Sarah? Because one of the things that I often encourage people to question the rules, right? And if you know my work, you know what a rule is. It's a BS rule that we adopt to simplify our understanding of the world. Rules can serve us or rules can shackle us. Sarah is one of those people that frequently breaks the rules. From your tattoos, to how you show up as a woman, to the way you pursue business, to even how you bring your son.
Nicely done, everyone.
This sounds way too academic. Can I talk about something that I'm more excited about, like 10X or Silva method? But it turned out that growth mindset is one of the most important things you can learn. Because when you master these ideas, what happens is that every aspect of your life starts getting better and better and better. Now, let me tell you what happened to me. About a year ago, I was part of a WhatsApp group of founders and CEOs. And we have this WhatsApp group because it was started during the pandemic for founders and CEOs, around 80 of us, to support each other as we went through all of this disruption during the pandemic. And one day I get this letter. It was a message from a fellow founder that I knew. And this is basically what he said. He said, guys, I've sunk to a new low, and I don't know if this time I can pull myself out. Basically, because of the pandemic, I started working from home. I stopped being able to work and see the members of my team. I couldn't go out and even have a drink with my friends. That loneliness really affected me because I'm a social butterfly, and I started sinking into sadness. That sadness seemed to affect my ability to perform at work, which means I just couldn't get everything I needed done in that amount of time I had per day. This led to me making promises to my clients that I couldn't deliver, so I overpromised to get even more clients to meet the shortfall in revenue. This caused some really huge troubles in my company. I began to see sales dwindle. This caused stress. I snapped at my wife one day, and that was it. We're now in not having a really good love. You're going on an upward spiral, and you are spiraling up, not just in one area, not just in terms of your wealth, or not just in terms of your health, but in all areas. Now, there are 5 key ideas for a growth mindset, and I want to give that to you in the 35 minutes that we have. You guys ready? The first one is the idea of knowing your number one mission. This is a quote from my book. Your soul isn't here to achieve. Your soul is here to grow. Most people get this wrong. They become seduced by success and broken by failure. What I mean by this is really a rule that I call the Rao rule. So back to Professor Srinivasan Rao, right, who's been a huge influence on Mindvalley. Professor Rao once came to me after a talk, and he said, Vishen, the problem with all of these top MBA schools, whether it's Harvard or it's Stanford, is that they do not teach the most important thing. And I asked him, what's the most important thing? He goes, consciousness. And I go, but Rao, they do teach consciousness. And he goes, no, you're misunderstanding. They teach ethics. Ethics and consciousness are 2 different things. After the Enron scandal, all of these schools teach ethics. Consciousness is different. It's something bigger. So I said, explain. And he goes, these MBA schools produce graduates that think that the most important thing in their life is their career and their business. They attach their identity to the idea of being in business, and this is wrong. He went on to say, the most important thing is not your business. The most important thing is, are you growing? If your business does $1 billion, doesn't matter. Did you grow? If your business collapses, it doesn't matter. Did you grow? Your business is nothing more than the universe giving you the most important vehicle for you to grow. Your business is not about its success or failure, detached from that. Your business, rather, is your gym. It's your training ground. It teaches you how to lead. It teaches you how to produce a product. It teaches you how to navigate the complexities of the economy. Your business is your gym. Now, when you go to a gym and you walk out of that gym and you feel that your body is aching, and you wake up the next day and because of lactic acid buildup, your muscles are aching, does that mean you failed at the gym? No. You sometimes have to break a certain part of yourself to grow. Same thing happens with businesses. So the Rao rule is simply this. The number one thing in your life, the number one thing is growth. Growth should be the number one cause that you dedicate yourself to. When you adopt growth as the number one thing in life, everything else grows with you. When we practice the act of becoming a newer, better, more experienced, wiser version of ourselves repeatedly, every single day, through the practice of personal growth, everything else in life gets elevated. Now, Rao goes even further. He says, your number one thing is not your marriage. Your number one thing is not your children. If you practice growth as the number one thing, you will become the best parent you can be. Why? Because you start winging it. You start maybe reading Shefali Sabari's book. You will become the best spouse you can be, the best family member you can be, the best friend you can be, because you're constantly seeking to become better and better, and everything else grows with you. So the word I want you to remember is your rose, your rate of self-development. Are you growing? And the answer should be this. Grow so fast that your friends who haven't kept in touch with you for a month have to get to know you all over again. Now, here's a simple exercise I want you guys to do. Joke as a new stand-up comedian to 2,000 people is an experience. Being able to own a gorgeous apartment in the heart of Dubai is an experience. Experiences light us up. They are end goals in itself. It is the pure expression of being human. Now the second question is, how do you want to grow? Because growth is one of the things that gives us most fulfillment. So when you set goals for your new health goals, or goals for the number of books you want to read a year, these are growth goals, goals to learn new skills. And the third question is, how do you want to contribute? How would you want to give back to the world? Each of these connect to each other. So you're going to make a list of 3, and I'm going to give you 1 minute per list. You're first going to write down all the beautiful experiences. Sarah spoke about how a eating disorder that she, what you believe about the world often becomes what is true for the world. In my book, The Buddha and the Badass, I call this the act of identity shifting. So, what we're going to do here is I'm going to teach you how to self-hypnotize yourself. You're going to learn a protocol in this presentation to craft new identities for yourself. In my book, The Buddha and the Badass, I wrote this quote down. The universe acts as a mirror. It reflects back to you what you are. The miracle of this is that you can shift your identity and the world will obey. The universe will not give you what you want, but will reflect back to you who you are. Now let me explain further. This idea came because around 2019 in May, we were hosting a big Mindvalley event in Portugal. It's called A-Fest. And one of the speakers who was on stage then was this amazing man, Reverend Michael Beckwith. So we were having breakfast one morning, just discussing how the day was going to unfold. And Michael Beckwith is the individual who has been more documentary films than any other teacher of wisdom. He was also in movies. So I said, Michael, it's been 20 years since that secret secret. The more important thing is the law of resonance. The universe will not give you what you want. It will reflect back to you who you are. What this means is that what you believe to be true about yourself will be reflected. So we grow in terms of transformational here. We do 2 things. We grow by shifting our models of reality. So our models are what we believe about the world. So somebody who believes that the world is painful and tough will experience a world that's painful and tough. You believe in a world of abundance, you will experience abundance. Like your hardware. It's your diet, it's what you eat, it's maybe your sleep ritual, it is what you learn culturally in terms of raising your child, it's the exercise routine that you do, it's your procedure for kickstarting your day when you get to work. These are all systems that you learn. Many people focus on systems. So we go to a gym, we take yoga classes, all of these are systems. The systems, however, are the software of your being. We forget to look at the hardware. The hardware is what actually causes the change. So let me give you an example. This is Jim Kwik. So when Jim Kwik gets on stage and he gives you a new model of reality, when Jim Kwik says creativity is not something you have, it's something you do. He's working on your hardware. He's giving you a new belief about creativity. That is a model of reality. When Marisa here hypnotizes someone, she's implanting in them a new belief. That is a hardware shift. So just like in old computers, you can take out a hard drive that maybe is too small and put in a more powerful hard drive. You can take out beliefs that don't serve you and put in healthier beliefs. Now, let's talk about systems. When Jim Kwik does his squatting thing, that's a system, it's a practice. When you study yoga, when you do 10x, when you take up WildFit, all of these are systems. Systems are habits, but models of reality are beliefs. So, going back to the analogy of the computer, what we are seeking to do is to continually upgrade your computer, to go from an early Mac to a modern Mac. But to do this, it's not just about the software, it's not about the apps you install, the yoga class that you do, or the diet that you take on. It is about what are your fundamental ideas about the world that you believe and are convinced are true. If you change that, that is the most important trigger for transformation. Any of you guys heard of this book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz? This book was written in the 80s. And my dad's in the audience. This was one of the books that I found on my dad's bookshelf that completely changed my life. So Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon. And he found that when he gave someone a nose job, He changed even the slightest thing about their appearance that their friends didn't notice. So he would adjust something about a person's nose. Even their friends or their mother wouldn't notice. But they would feel different. And all of a sudden, they would start getting promotions in their career. All of a sudden, they would start dating the person of their dreams. What exactly was going on? So Maxwell Maltz went on to say, it's no exaggeration to say that every human being is hypnotized to some extent, either by ideas he has uncritically accepted from others, or ideas he has repeated to himself and convinced himself to be true. We all are hypnotized, but we don't know we're hypnotized. So here's another really fascinating study. Now this one was really intriguing. How many of you here slap on cologne or perfume when you go out? Okay, great. The people who raise their hands, those of you who are not raising their hands, sniff them. See how good they smell. Like, learn from them. So the rest of you smelly buggers might want to consider learning a new system, spraying on cologne. Okay, so spraying on cologne is a system. But there's an interesting belief associated with that as well. And it turns out that the belief is more powerful than the system. So in this study, they took men and they had men walk into a room and stand in front of a camera and just introduce themselves. Now, these men who were introducing them, however, the model of reality is more powerful than the actual system, which is the act of spraying on. So, any one of you read the book Sapiens by Yuval Harari? Yuval says the difference between us and animals is that human babies are like molten glass. They can be molded and shaped into anything. This is why a child can grow up to be a peacemaker or a warmonger, a Buddhist or a Christian or a Muslim, rich or poor. We shape our little baby humans with beliefs from the time they are young. And many of you are carrying the beliefs that were implanted in you by your parents from as early as being in the womb. So here's another crazy study, fit hotel mates. So in this study, the researchers were wondering, why is it that so many hotel mates in the United States are clinically obese and have really bad health, even though if you are walking 10,000 steps a day, and doctors say that is really good, you must feel so healthy, you are doing such great things for your body. That's it. Not very effective. Then there's process. Process is you tell yourself, I'm going to go to the gym 2 times a week, practice the 10x protocol for precisely 20 minutes each. It's better, you're more likely to go to the gym, but it's not the most effective. The most effective is an identity. An identity, says James Clear, is you tell yourself, I have the body of an athlete, and my body loves to work out. If you embrace that identity, to the point where you start believing it, you will never miss a gym session. You just can't. Because when you wake up in the morning, as tired as you are, you will feel this impulse that your body loves to work out. It turns out that identity hacking is the best way to install a habit. So back to Michael Beckwith, the universe will not give you what you want. Rather, it will reflect back to you what you are. This is not just spiritual beliefs. This is now proven in science. As James Clear mentioned, you guys ready? So the first one is this, blisscipline. Blisscipline is the idea that you do better when you're happy. So if you're having a stressful day and you're feeling a little bit sad, don't pour yourself back into work. Do something to elevate happiness. There's a lot of research right now that says that happiness fuels productivity. Salespeople sell 55% better when they're happy. Doctors are 19% better at diagnoses when they're happy. There's a remarkable book on this called The Happiness Advantage. Blisscipline is the discipline that your bliss is the most important thing. And I want to share with you a really interesting series of lessons on blisscipline. Let me read you this poem, one of my favorite poems ever. I was early taught to work as well as play. My life has been one long happy holiday. Full of work, full of play, I dropped the worry on the way, and God was good to me every day. This poem sounds like it was written by a 19-year-old. It's super simplistic, seems very innocent, right? Life was being one long happy holiday. Really, really, your life has always been a happy holiday, full of work and full of play. This guy sounds like he's just not the most productive person you want to hire in your company. Never worry, drop the worry along the way. God was good to me every day, seriously, believing in God, that's like so like 19th century. But it turns out this poem was actually written by John D. Rockefeller, the richest man who ever lived in the last 150 years, richer even than Elon Musk. He wrote this poem at 86. You see, we think that hard work, that hustle, that the grind is what it takes to be successful. John Rockefeller didn't. Look at his words. He had the right beliefs about reality. Work and play, equally important. Drop the worry, because God has your back. The theory of the benevolent universe. So what you believe about the world is going to gift you. Now, this is a lesson I learned recently when I was interviewing Mustafa Salameh, who lives here in Dubai. So he is one of only 20 people in the world who has skied to the North and South Pole and climbed all 7 of the tallest mountains on the 7 continents, right? Maria came very close, but Muhammad Salameh is one of 20 who did that. And I asked him, you know, he's almost died so many times, and I said, when you're pushing yourself in these uncomfortable situations, in the sheer cold and the agony of a blizzard, what keeps you going? And he said, bliss. When I look at where I am, I look at the pain, the fierceness of nature, and I just feel happiness in there. I learned that from my Sufi training. See happiness in everything you do. And that's how I became one of only 20 people to accomplish this. And by the way, this man grew up in a refugee camp. He worked 5 years washing dishes. He's basically a dishwasher, a Palestinian refugee dishwasher who got a job at a restaurant in London, washing dishes for 5 years, couldn't speak any English, and today he's one of the world's greatest explorers. Discipline. Now, let's go on to the second idea, immunity to overwhelm. How many of you here experience stress or overwhelm? How many of you here understand that stress is bad for you and can kill you? Raise your hand. Okay, so stress can kill you and stress is bad for you? What if that belief is simply not true? There's a TED Talk by Kelly McGonigal where she shares a really interesting set of research. It turns out if you believe stress is going to kill you, your body will experience negative health effects of stress. But if you believe stress is not going to hurt your body, you do not experience any negative health effects of stress. Stress is a complete mental construct that you are making up. Be immune to overwhelm. You can be trained to elevate your stress response. It's literally easier than you think. Someone like Elon Musk is the CEO of 5 companies, and you think your job is tough. The world requires competitiveness. We've been trained to believe that if you break up with someone, you have to hate them, because love is meant to be happily ever after, and how dare they break that illusion? So much of our life is trained to be a battle between 2 people. I don't believe that. I have no competitors that I dread. I have no relationships, ex-relationships that I am not really good friends with, because I only believe in win-win relationships. But this is a belief that you can take on as well. I trained with a really brilliant Chinese master, and one of the beliefs he says is the most important beliefs that human beings can take on is the idea that all human connections are to be win-win. You create positive vibes and generate great energy with everyone in your life. Now the fourth one is inspiration on demand. Any of you here studied the Silva method on Mindvalley? That is one of the most effective ways to be able to generate inspiration on demand. You can also take Sonia Choquette's new course, 6th Sense Superpower. But intuition is real, and studies show that it correlates with your business performance. CEOs who score well on intuition tests, according to the Newark College of Engineering, actually have a higher rate of profitability in their companies. All of us can tap into intuition, but it's something that you can train your mind to do. Why not believe that you can channel wisdom and inspiration on demand? The fifth is abundance. Ooh, this is the one that we have the most hang-ups with, because we constantly hear that rich people are manipulated, billionaires don't pay their taxes, that to be rich means you're going to be an a-hole. Sorry, I forgot to Dubai. So we hear this all the time, right? And this actually keeps you poor. There's nothing glorious about being poor. You can be born in the slums of Dhaka, and you still aspire to want to become a doctor or an engineer or a social media influencer. Nobody wants to be poor. And there's nothing wrong with being gloriously, fabulously, incredibly rich either. Pay your taxes though. So abundance, really powerful belief. 6, flow and ease. What if life was just meant to flow in your favor? Professor Srinivasan, in his Mindvalley program, The Quest for Personal Mastery, says that the most important belief is that the universe has my back. It's called the belief of the benevolent universe. Remember that poem by Rockefeller? And God was good to me every day? That relates to this. Life flows almost as if it's blessed by luck and synchronicity. It almost feels as if you are held by a benevolent universe. Now, all of these beliefs, I can tell you, may be true for you or not true for you. But the decision of it being true or not is not me, it's not the world, it's not your parents, it is what you have taken on to believe. So you can literally flip the switch in your brain immediately. But I'm going to teach you a way to make that switch more flipped with greater ease. That's coming up soon. One of the things I learned from one of the spiritual teachers I work with is this: to tell myself every day, I solve any problem that comes to me in a fun, easy way. I solve any problem that comes to me in a fun, easy way. Rather than associating problem with stress, I've started to associate problem with, wow, how can I solve this in a fun, easy way? Now the final belief is bending reality. Your true wants seem to come to you with ease. Life seems easier as you're supported by the benevolent universe. In Sanskrit, there's a word called Maya, which means the illusion of reality. I believe we can shift that illusion. I believe reality is a construct of our minds. You don't have to take that on, but know that many of the most brilliant people in the world believe that because they witnessed that. This is an extract from the book Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. Isaacson was Jobs' biographer. And this is what Isaacson wrote about Steve. At the root of his reality distortion was Jobs' belief that the rules didn't apply to him. He had some evidence for this in his childhood. He had often been able to bend reality to his desires. Rebelliousness and willfulness were ingrained in his character. He had the sense that he was special, a chosen one, an enlightened one. He thinks there are few people who are special, people like Einstein and Gandhi and the gurus he met in India, and that he's one of them. I believe Steve Jobs' beliefs about himself and his ideas of reality were one of the reasons he was able to create such magical leaps in terms of inventions. The iPhone that many of you carry in your pocket came from this man's beliefs. And there were arguments with Steve and other people in his company. In one situation, Steve's former boss said that they had a debate. So Steve worked for Bushnell, who was the founder of Atari, and they had a debate on whether things in the world were determined or programmed. If we had perfect information, we could predict people's actions, but Steve thought the opposite. That outlook, with his faith in his power of the will, that outlook accorded with his faith in the power of the will to bend reality. From an early age, Steve Jobs, who had studied in India, whose favorite book in the world was Paramahansa Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi, believed that reality was an illusion. By the way, do you know that when Steve died, there was only one book on his iPad, according to Isaacson. It was Autobiography of a Yogi. At his funeral, everybody got a gift bag with that book. Bill Gates walked out with Autobiography of a Yogi. If you read that book is about the idea that the yogic mind can bend reality, and everything we think is true in the world is nothing more than an illusion. Read that, and maybe you'll start to understand how Steve is probably the greatest inventor CEO of the last 100 years. So remember this, outside the rules of physics, all other rules are illusions that you have chosen to believe. You can smash the ones that no longer serve you. Are you guys ready to now start smashing them? So here's how to hypnotize yourself. It has to do with the power of questions. Now, this technique comes from this as I sleep. Why is my body getting younger and younger every year? Now, I've been going to the gym, I've hired a personal trainer, I've been on diets for the models you can use. Remember this process from James Clear? Second, prove it to yourself with small wins. So you're not just going to create a lofty question, why do I only eat healthy foods? The next time you go to the buffet at the Dubai hotel you're staying at, just add a tiny bit more vegetables to your plate, right? Step 3, when you meditate, you program your identity with lofty questions. So here are some of the lofty questions. For bliss, why am I surrounded by bliss and happiness no matter what? You can write this down and you can repeat this to yourself. The word no matter what is a Lisa Nichols phraseology. You'll hear from Lisa Nichols today. Why am I surrounded by bliss and happiness no matter what? Why am I able to do so much in so little time? This lofty question probably added hours to my day. Why am I always surrounded by love and amazing people whom I'm deeply connected to? Why am I so brilliant, so genius, and so able to tap into source for instant inspiration? You can replace the word source with God or universe or whatever you resonate with. Abundance. I love this one. This came from Tony Robbins and his documentary, I Am Not a Guru. I saw Tony stating this to himself in a mirror. Not as a lofty question, but I rephrased it as a lofty question. Why am I so good at making, keeping, and multiplying money? Tony's exact phrase was, why do I have avalanches of abundance falling down on me for all my dreams, desires, and intentions? Flow. Why does the universe always have my back? Or, why do I solve all problems in a fun and easy way? And bending reality. Why do my dreams and goals come to me with such ease and speed? The world will reflect back to you what you truly, deeply believe you are. Your identity will create resonance with the world. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is I want to feel free to take pictures of this. Okay, so these are example lofty questions. Okay, take a picture. And if you want, these are example questions for creativity and inspiration. Again, take a picture. For abundance and power. And keep your cameras up. This is for love and connection. So all of these are useful, lofty questions that you can try. Okay, now let's actually program this into you. We're going to do this in 2 to 3 minutes. Okay? So I want you to relax. So you want to repeat the lofty question to yourself in a state of meditation. When you're at the alpha or relaxed level of mind, you are able to better program your subconscious. Now, yes, you can repeat this to yourself anytime, but it's better when you're relaxed. Notice a hypnotist relaxes you. So where are you relaxed? Maybe when you're sitting in front of a warm fire, when you're meditating, when you're in prayer to God, when you are taking a shower. All of these moments are great moments to repeat lofty questions. For now, we're going to do it in a short meditative state. Close your eyes. Beautiful meditation music, please. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you're going to feel yourself relax and sink deeper and deeper into a level of meditation. 10, 9, 8, deeper and deeper. 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're now in a deep, relaxed state of mind, deeper than before. I'm going to repeat 7 lofty questions for yourself. You don't have to do anything or visualize anything. As you hear my voice say these questions, repeat it in your voice for your mind. Why am I surrounded by bliss and happiness no matter what? Why am I able to do so much in so little time? Why am I always surrounded by love and amazing people whom I'm deeply connected to? Why am I so brilliant, so genius, and so able to tap into source for instant inspiration? Why am I so good at making, keeping, and multiplying money. Why does the universe always have my back? Why do my dreams and goals come to me with such ease and speed? And you may now open your eyes. Okay, so those are just 7 lofty questions that I love and I use. You can choose to adopt those. You can write your own. You can literally program your body to heal and rejuvenate itself and reverse aging as you sleep. You can program your body to lose weight. You can program that only loving people enter your life. Whatever you believe about the world will literally influence the world around you. And everything you experienced about the world in the past was in alignment with your past beliefs. Can you see how simple this technique is? It takes just a few minutes, and you can embed this in your meditation. If you do the 6-phase meditation, it's in phase 4. So, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this session.
We'll have time to get on there. But remember, that is one of the prizes here that you can win.
So let's just practice it real quick. You're really great at this. I'll just stage with you and share some of the ideas that I've been sharing with thousands and thousands of coaches that I've trained for the past several years. But I didn't. Our senses fuel us. Our senses are a great way for us to increase our energy at any given time. These are the 5 senses we all know: is smell, taste, sound, sight, touch. Right? How many of us really manufacture the smell of our environment? How many of us ask ourselves the question of saying, hey, what incense, what candle, what spray should I have in my workplace, in my house, that I walk in, the moment I smell this, I get a particular feeling? We have all experienced this at some point if you've ever been close to religion, right? If you've been to a temple, a mosque, or any place of worship, there's a smell to it. There's always incense or candles or something. It's science to that. And that's because smell elevates your energy, it gets you to a particular place. And we all have our unique smells that we enjoy more. It's not that my smell is the same as yours, or my preference of smell is the same as yours, but there are smells that will elevate you. So what if, when you walked into your office, or walked into your workplace, or walked back to your house, you didn't just go into a place which was whatever. It actually smelled in a particular way. See, when I do that, and that's how my day is constructed, everything around my life is constructed to smell in particular ways, because I know the energy I need to lean in or want to lean in when I'm doing that activity. When I'm on calls, it's a different smell. When I'm recording videos, it's a different smell. When I get back home, it's a different smell. Because a particular smell will trigger, really taste properly of what foods you really design your food to actually eat the right kinds of food that will elevate your energy level. The sounds. This is why I highly recommend don't listen to Taylor Swift too much. Right? Very depressing songs. Uplifting in the sense of the beats are good, but they're always about breakup. And guess why you think love hurts? Right? Taylor Swift is not a good idea all the time. Right? So listen to music that actually uplifts you. Right? What is our playlist? What kind of sounds are we lifted? You will refuel to 100%. What are you looking at? Very important. What lights do you have in the house? What are the different sites that you have? What are the kind of wallpapers that... Another thing very important in a business is collaboration. You gotta have meetings, right? So that's my second type of day, which is collaboration day. Go in that day, in that frame of mind, that today I collaborate. And you go collaborate. But the most important day, the non-negotiable day, is my growth day. The growth day is the day where nothing is on the schedule. Nothing at all. It's a completely free day because the intention of this day is to wonder, is to ponder, is to think about what is it that I can do, what is it that I'm not seeing, what is it that I'm not doing, what may be something where there's a growth opportunity for me because I wouldn't even look at it. I would keep doing my berries, I will keep focusing on that one bush if I never looked around and said, what else is available? Does this sound useful? Say yes? Awesome. Let's go to the third thing, and that is the mass needs chi. Now, irrespective of what age you're in, imagine there was a time in life, because all of us have one greatest truth of life, which is we all die. There will be a point in time where you are looking back at yourself and going, this is the end of life, right? If you were to future pace yourself and imagine yourself at that time, and look at that version of you, 50 years later, 70 years from now, whatever that time frame is, and if that version of you looked back at you today, looked at the version that you are today, what would that version tell you? What would that version ask you? What would that version share with you, inform you, give as an insight to you about the version that you're living right now? Is that future version of you going to say, you were living the most authentic life, you were living with joy, you're living with purpose, you're living with meaning, you were so connected, you were so heartfelt? Or would that version say, maybe you need to take off that mask, maybe you need to be more of here? Ask yourself that question. Death is a great equalizer. It brings reality to our life in this moment. So these are three ways to master your personal energy. If you take off your mask, you live at your 100%, and you make sure that you're honoring your chi, right? And then comes the two ideas that will help you build the most impeccable team. One of the best teams that you may have worked with, the team that will surround you. You could be hiring them, you could be working with them, it doesn't matter. There's principles that I've learned again and again and again, help companies and clients deliver to their amazing, is the most solid team that you've ever built in your life, is to have 10-year thinking. Most companies, most entrepreneurs, most team leaders only project into the next year of their business, right? 1-year plans, 3-year plans, that's as far as we can think. But here's what happens when you have 10-year thinking. When you think about your business in 10-year terms, when you project 10 years into the future, now somebody who's building a life that they don't know if they want to work with this company or not. Now they have a vision of how 10 years from now this company is going to be, and they can say, does my life align to your vision? Does my life align to your vision? See, as much as we can say our teams are families and we're one big family and so forth, all of us are a little bit selfish, right? We all want to have a particular direction in our life, and we want to be successful in that particular way in our life. What is it that will actually get our team turned on, not just about where we are going, but also our team to feel excited about where we are going? So we got to switch the narrative from 1-year, 3-year business plans to 10-year visions. But what is it that in 10 years my business is going to look like, so I can find a way for my company and my team to align with that company? Can these individuals that I really love, that I want to build within my team, or I want to keep in my team, see themselves growing with me as an entrepreneur in my company? It would be ideal if you can do it with each person. If not, do it at least with the team leaders, and ask the team leaders to do it with their teams. Is to sit down and say, hey, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years from now? 3 to 5 years, not next year, 3 to 5 years. Because that will tell you what is actually important to them. The next year, it's always about what's their immediate goal. What is important to them is revealed when you ask a 3 to 5 year question, right? Where do you want to be 3 to 5 years from now? And when they share that with you, instead of just saying, okay, I've noted it for HR, don't do that. Instead, share with them how the company vision helps them achieve and live their 3 to 5 years version from now. Because now they've found alignment between you and themselves and their visions of life. Does that make sense? Say yes? Yes. How many of you feel that your team members already do this, or team leaders already do this? What happens, and this is an experiment that was done in Chicago. In Chicago, it's called the Chicago Couples Experiment. And what they did is they found couples that have been married for over 10 years or over. And they took all of these different couples and got them to rate themselves on how satisfied versus dissatisfied they were in their relationship. And they picked about 100 couples that rated themselves as really dissatisfied in their relationship. Okay? And then they said, okay, for 21 days, these couples will be asked to do 2 different things. They broke that 100 people, 50 were to make a journaling exercise. So for 21 days, journal your experience of your relationship, and let's see how that impacts your dissatisfaction. And the second group, they said, write down what's happening as an event every single time you have a dissatisfaction in your relationship, which means write down as if you're watching a movie, not your experience of the relationship, but the experience of the relationship, right? So you have 2 perspectives that you will write exactly what happened as an event, and so on and so forth, right? What they found in 21 days that the group that did journaling just as for themselves as to what their experience was, were as dissatisfied as they were 21 days before. The second group, although, which actually wrote it as an event, they found that they had no dissatisfaction in their relationship anymore. And the reason was because most of us internalize and think about life from our perspective only. And when we think about life from our perspective only, we tell ourselves a story and then we repeat that story again and again and again from one perspective. But when you lean into kindness, when you lean into candor, you start to look at other person's perspective. And the moment you start looking at other person's perspective, you suddenly understand something that you would have never understood before. When you do that with a team member, when you lean into understanding the people on your team, when you lean into not just simply saying, oh, you disrupted what I said, so you're fired. Instead of that, if you lean into saying, you know what, tell me why this happened, you suddenly change your complete attitude towards that person, and it makes that person also connect more deeply with you and becomes an irreplaceable part of the team. Right? So, sorry about that. So here's the exercise that you can do. I'm going to go a little bit faster because I'm running out of time. Duration, right? Every person in the team answers 3 questions. These are 3 specific questions. What were their key roles and responsibilities in the last year? What are they excited about in the next 12 months? And what do they wish they could delegate, delete, or automate this year? When you do this exercise, what you are doing is you're developing an understanding of the desires of your team member over the next 12 months and also giving them an opportunity to see how they can actually live those desires in the next 12 months, right? This leaning into what they need and what they want, or how you can help them win, helps them win and helps you build a formidable team. Now for the final part, or the one thing, I'm going to take a sip of water before, I want to lean into some feeling that energy flowing through your body, through your fingertips, through your hands. See that energy once again through your body.
Certifications is that we certify people to become health coaches, life coaches, or business coaches. Many of you that came to the booth at the back there to ask about the next certification to grow your business or to start your business, because you learn the things that most entrepreneurs don't bother studying, and they end up messing it up because they are as an entrepreneur, you want to be focused on the product. Everything else you want to get training on so that you can deliver the most effective product to grow your business. Most entrepreneurs don't bother about studying marketing or studying systemization or studying how their financial operations should work, or how to hold a strategy session, or how to attract the right people. And any one of these things, if you don't really learn it, it could trip you up. But here, in just 4 months, you're learning all of these, and you're learning it from one of the most masterful teachers of this. Now, if you're not an entrepreneur and you currently work for a company, here's something really interesting. So many people sign up for this program because when they get that certificate, Mindvalley Certified Business Coach, they go back to their boss and they ask for a raise. And you'd be surprised at how much more valuable this will make you in your company.
Sitting with a good friend, and I was saying in 1997, I was diagnosed as clinically depressed. 3 colors, and your 3 colors have impressed some people. You didn't know that you had 19 more colors in your wingspan. And so I just stopped by to push and expand and stretch any form of mediocrity. And that thing about your vision, not everybody can get your one. God Vishen's vision. Not everyone could see this room. Not everyone can understand. But here's the thing I want you to walk away with. If everyone doesn't get your vision, it's because God didn't give your vision to everybody. God gave your vision to you. Yes, yes. God gave you your vision. And you're the only one that have it right here in your belly. And your job is to nurture that vision. Your job is to feed it with time, to feed it with training, to feed it with coaches who are 20 to 30 steps beyond you. Your job is to give it what it needs so that it can be birthed into the world, so that now your vision is our reality. That's your job to me. You have your biological family and they have a role in your life. And then you got your developed God-given family, and they have a role in your life. And you find your tribe. Because the last thing you want to do is get to the final chapter and say, who could I have been? And what could I have done? And who could I have touched had I given that dream a chance? It's too late now. I can't get out the rocking chair, but man, who would I have been? The last thing you want is to be left with memories of things you didn't do. Do it. Play big. Play strong. Fly or fall. Just do it. Yes, yes? Just do it. I was just being interviewed by Mindvalley and said, how are you so successful? I said, because I failed more than others. Because I'm not counting the failures. I know I always got one more get up than my failure. I am you. I'm your sister. I came for you. I came for you. I came for you. We need you. Don't dim your light. I need you. They need you. The world needs you. Speak up. Show up. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Find 3 people. Go to and say, it's my time. It's my time. It's my time. Putting your makeup on or you're combing your hair, we won't be in the car with you. You will be with you. And so I want to give you something to be with you that you can chant. This is my time, that's one thing. But I'm a big person of affirmations. I had to convince Lisa she was worthy of this stage. I had to convince her as a mocha skin, kinky hair, full lip, round hip girl that she was worthy of this stage. I had to talk her into this stage. And I had to talk her into this stage every single day. And I had to talk her into the contracts, the $100,000, the $250,000 contract. I had to talk her into her worthiness of those contracts. I had to talk her into a multi-million-dollar business. She didn't just get there, I had to talk her into it. You hear me? You guys hear me? Yes, yes? Because that chatter kept coming in. You Lisa? You a C student? I said, well, I'm a C- to be exact. But I'm still worthy. So let's just take a moment and let's make a declaration. And I'm known for this when I speak on stage. I'll come back. I'm going to come back and do a closing ceremony with you. That's going to be pretty special, so I hope you're here for it. But I'm real big on turning you into yourself before I leave. I don't need you to grandize me. I'm grateful of your love, but I need you to leave so full of what you can do, so full of your confidence on you, not necessarily wowed by me. I hope you love me as much as I love you, but I want to leave you full on you. Because when you can fill up on you, then you don't have to love anyone or serve anyone from what you need. You get to serve them from your overflow. Don't feed them from the cup. Don't feed them from the cup. Feed them from the saucer. Yes, yes? Somebody just came for that part right there. And so now in this declaration, I want you certainty. I want you to walk away with certainty that I am fit. I am created for such a time as this. I'm certain of that. Certainty. You came for certainty. You didn't come for entertainment, and not every moment is going to give you certainty. There are moments throughout these 2 days that simply said, that's exactly what I came for. That's giving me my certainty. That's what you came for. And you walk away and you hold on to it. And as you leave, in the car, in the taxi, in the Uber, in the hotel, and I talk to myself all the time, you guys. Y'all might see me over the hotel having a full-on conversation with Lisa. I'm quite fine with that. Because guess what? I gave up trying to be ordinary. So I don't mind people thinking I'm strange. There's so much freedom in being considered strange. Like you can do anything because you're already strange. Like there's freedom in strange, y'all. There's freedom in strange. There's freedom. There's freedom in your unique, unrepeatable miracle fingerprint. And so put one hand over your heart, whichever hand makes you feel good. Repeat after me. I was built for such a time as this. Everything that I've navigated through prepare me for this moment. And boy, am I prepared. get to be nervous. I get to be uncertain. I get to need help. And I get to win. Abundance is my birthright. Abundance is my birthright. Joy is my birthright. I must do financially well because I'm a good person. And when good people do well, they do more good in the world. I deserve everything. I deserve everything because I'm a great steward of prosperity. Get ready, me. Get ready, me. All small parts of myself must be left in this room. And the big me is gone. Grab someone, tell someone high five. Now, I have you say that you can have a seat. Investment of the time, your community, you are a great investment. You are a good steward of possibility. You're a good steward. And so the question is, what will you do when you get out of this chair? What will you do when you leave this conference? It doesn't have to be easy. You're built for difficulty. You're built for strong. You're built for necessity. You haven't seen the greatest version of you yet. You haven't seen. You're going to blow your mind with the man, the woman you're becoming. And during that entire time, just know that it will be people like me on the sidelines, championing you, reminding you that the best part is still coming. And that behind every fall is a get up. And behind every fly is a soar. And that someone's watching you right now, someone who's 40, 14, or 4. They're watching the way you dance, the way you focus. They're watching the way you soar and the way you get up. They're watching you. And you get to inspire a world by the way you choose to be. So I just stopped by. I stopped by to stir your soul. I stopped by to say, this is your time. What is it? What is it? What is it? No matter how hard it gets, it's my time. No matter how challenging it gets, it's my time. No matter if you do it by yourself, on the good days, on the hard days, the world is so excited to meet the next best version of you. And as your sister friend, just know, whenever you hear me say that I believe in you and I love you, it's not a shtick. It's not a sign off. It's not my signature clothes. It's because I believe in you and I love you. Be well.